This is a short animated summary of how I think learning happens and also how it fails to happen. So on the left here, we've got some shapes. Now you can think of them as literally shapes, and we all learned to recognize shapes, or you can think of them as any other task, physical or mental. So to begin with, we have a choice here or a junction in our brain, and if we recognize it as familiar, we very quickly process the task. It can be unfamiliar and it takes a different path, and here we have a crucial decision. We can either decide it's not for us, it's too difficult, we're not interested, in which case it goes in the bin, the mental bin, or we can say yes, we can learn this, and it goes to the more effortful, slow processing part of the brain. But once it's been processed thoroughly, it now becomes a routine, or whatever metaphor you like, whatever computer metaphor you like, and we can execute that routine, that recognition, whatever it is, incredibly quickly, about 20 times quicker. Now we can summarize this here in our chart here, and this is from the video, which is linked at the end. So Gun is the fast automatic processing, Drew is the more thoughtful, slow processing. They can't really run simultaneously. Neither can run, in which case we're relaxing, which is fine as well. But this is the crucial difference. If we've got our fast processing, we're getting a lot done, which is great and necessary sometimes, but we're not learning. Learning is a demanding task, and it's much slower, and a lot of confusion arises between these two. As a teacher, you can say, oh, they're busy and they're completing lots of work, but really what we're after, a bit paradoxically, is struggle, that they're puzzling and getting themselves unstuck and so on. So this ties in very strongly with a book called Grit by a lady called Angela Duckworth, an American psychologist, and she looked at the relationship between talent and achievement. What is the relationship between these two things? And crucially, she looked at the role of effort. Now, the first thing to say is that talent does vary. There is such a thing as talent, but the difference between the most talented and the least is actually much smaller than we think, because we're constantly confusing it with achievement. We sit next to a mother and a father at a piano recital, and they say, oh my goodness me, your daughter's so talented. Well, yes, maybe, but there's an awful lot of effort gone in as well, which, as I said, can vary from literally nothing to a great deal. And that gives us the skill, but effort counts twice, so that the metaphor here is one dimension to two dimension, and then effort again can enhance or flesh out or give us this three-dimensional achievement. So what lies behind this? Why do some people put effort into some task, or why do we as an individual choose one, or how much to put into a task? And the answer is grit. And again, Duckworth identifies what lies behind this. So there's four factors: hope, interest, practice, and purpose. So by hope, we don't mean I hope it's a nice sunny day tomorrow. Hope means I believe I can do it. It's something we have control over. Interest is I want to know, and again, that's something we can nurture. It isn't either there or not there. Practice is the realization that everyone who learnt that skill had to practice it many times. Even if we only see the achievement and we don't see the years of practice, that's a really important realization. And finally, the purpose. Why are we doing it? If we understand why we're doing it, we will persevere. So here's a summary of the different outcomes of the two dimensions she identifies. So this is what we're after. You can't do it for everything, but crucially, many years intensely and joyfully pursuing a goal. Those are the most successful. That's where the greatest achievement comes from. As opposed to many years spent begrudgingly or half-heartedly pursuing a goal. And I think we can all think of students like that. They do stick with it, but they're not really fascinated, and they'll only ever reach a certain level. And then down here, we've got the student that says, yeah, I'm desperately excited to study medicine. And then they believe that in the moment, but they don't have the resilience to really pursue that for many years. And finally, if you have neither, clearly you're not going to get anywhere. So my summary on this is the purpose of school is to make us smarter. Now there's a huge discussion about intelligence and whatever you call that, but clearly people get better at doing things, physical and mental tasks. And if you get better at mental tasks, you're smarter. So we can have a long discussion about the terminology, but that's the way I'm using it. And for a long time, I used to say to my students, tackling difficulty makes us smarter. But then I realized I had to make it even stronger and put the only in front. And it really is only when our brain tackles difficult things that we make real progress. So here we've got the three references. There we go. So the 2 books and the video link there from a website called Veritasium.